How many friends have you made today? Chapter 4, Part 2. Celeste's wondering what's taking Anon so long to return. She knows that Luna's room isn't that far from the dining hall. Her questioning doesn't continue though, as Anon walks through the door and over to the only seat left that has a plate in front of it, that seat being at Celeste's right hoof.
What kept you, Anon?
Celestia asks. Anon takes a seat and slouches some. Yes, Luna. He rubs his face some. She wanted to cuddle a little. Now that is a surprise to Celestia. She wasn't aware that those two were so close.
I see.
She looks back down to her meal. Anon feels his eyebrow raise some at Celestia's mood shift. Then it slowly dawns on him what she might be thinking of. No, wait. Luna and I aren't, together, he says. It's just a friend thing. For some reason or another, Celestia feels a large weight lift off of her. Why would she instantly think Anon was dating Luna? That would be just silly. Ponies commonly have snuggling partners, she knows that. Yet, she forgets to. Anon looks to his covered plate and takes off the lid. If he wasn't positive that a big white horse was sitting next to him, he would have assumed that he was back on Earth. Did you buy this meat for my visit? He asks, feeling uncomfortable at the thought of someone going out of their way for him.
No.
That's a lie.
We have some ambassadors that eat meat.
True, but still not the entire truth. She made sure to stock up specifically for Anon.
I just thought that you would like something that you seldom get.
Anon looks to his plate, then back to Celestia. He can feel a small battle going on inside of him, and he doesn't want her to do things for him. But then again, this was for an ambassador. Thanks, he says hesitantly before he eats his breakfast. He will admit that last night he didn't care about whom the meat was bought for, seeing as that was the first piece of meat that he's seen in a year. Though now that his mind is far more level, he feels the urge to turn it down. Not because he doesn't want it, but because someone else gave it to him. Even if it is a close friend, it always felt wrong to have others doing something for him. Like he would owe them and then they would take advantage of him one day. He didn't need to worry about this with Celestia though. He knows that she's very kind and wouldn't take advantage of him. At least he hopes that she wouldn't. Celestia on the other hoof is happy to see Anon happy. She's unaware of his current thoughts, but if she knew about them, then she would try to prove to him that she would never do such a thing. She just wants to make his life easier, as she knows that he does have it a bit rough in some places. That's why she lets him get away with so many things. She knows that he would never harm her ponies, and just likes to talk about doing something. She knows it's just his way of letting off some steam, and while she does feel like she should defend the elements when he talks down about them, Celestia can't say for certain what Anon says about them is wrong. Celestia doesn't know everything that happens in this world, and if she did, then she wouldn't need guards to protect the citizens. She is a normal pony, and many forget that about her. She can tell when Anon thinks about the elements, and that something has happened that he isn't telling her, and he just brushes over them, never giving a full explanation. She hopes that he'll tell her in time. Digressing, Anon is currently enjoying his brunch. He can practically feel Celestia thinking about him. It's almost like a superpower that he has. She's eating her meal, but he knows that her mind is wandering to him. Perhaps he shouldn't have shown her that list today. Maybe she's thinking that he's a threat and how she should send him to the dungeon. Celestia? Anon catches her attention. You don't have a dungeon, do you? Celestia nods.
One was built many centuries ago, though it was never used.
So there is a possibility that it could be locked away.
Why do you ask?
She looks to him curiously, and he shrugs. Just making conversation. Celestia could see that he's lying as clear as her day. Something's happening inside of him right now, because that question wasn't out of the blue. It was made for a reason.
You do know that I wouldn't put you there, right?
Celestia tries to comfort Anon. He nods his head slowly. Yeah, of course. Those words from Celestia didn't help calm him. If anything, it confirms his suspicion. He was just asking about dungeons, and she's the one saying that she wouldn't put him there, which means the thought of putting him there crossed her mind. These ponies think that they're smart, but Anon is onto their games.
Stop that,
Celestia says. Anon looks to her, confused. Stop what? She reaches her wing over and lays it onto his shoulders.
You don't have to worry yourself, Anon. I'll always be here for you.
While on the outside, Anon looks blank, but on the inside he is in total turmoil. He wasn't really sure how to take a statement like that. His time on Earth conditioned him to pick out lies and avoid people. Even when he showed up here in Equestria, he still didn't have any luck on a new start. While the ponies looked friendly on the outside, as soon as he tried to make friends, something bad would happen. So, why is it that he has Celestia as a friend, and why is Luna his friend? What does he consider Bonbon? It's also hard for him to understand something that he's not familiar with. Celestia has never asked him for anything, never shown any signs of ill content towards him, and the same could be said for Luna and Bonbon. They seem genuine. And that's why Anon finds this so confusing. He doesn't know what to say.
Come.
Celestia stands from her seat and beckons Anon to follow her. He gets up and stands by her as she wraps a wing around him. Anon hates to admit that he does really feel safe with Celestia. A feeling that he hasn't felt in many, many years. Celestia can feel Anon's body loosen up some as she holds him.
I'm about to go to decor. Do you wish to join me?
She asks, and Anon nods hesitantly. Sure. Chapter 5, Skyrim Shuffle. Anon is currently resting his back against the throne while tossing a small rubber ball at a wall and catching it. At first, he was well behaved while Celestia went about her court. But that didn't last long, as he somehow managed to get his hands on that ball. The thing seems to catch the attention of every pony as they walk in to talk to their princess, the echo of it bouncing off the ground, then off the wall and back to Anon. By the sun, it is starting to get on Celestia's nerves. She has no idea where he even got that ball to begin with. 1 minute she's talking to a couple, as they request her to be at their wedding, then she looks over to see Anon bouncing that thing away in boredom. She knows that it can get rather stale listening to other ponies talk, but she was hoping that Anon would have held out a little longer. Every time that ball bounces off the wall, she can feel her ear flick over to the sound. Celestia finds a break in the ponies coming to court, and perhaps this is the time to catch Anon's attention.
Are you hungry?
She asks him. Nah, he mutters as he continues to toss the ball.
Are you sure?
She asks again.
It's almost time to end the court for the day, and dinner's only a few moments away.
Nah. Celestia catches the ball in midair before it could return to Anon.
Are you even listening?
Celestia scolds him. He turns around to face her. The look he's giving her is one of confusion. Is it element business? He asks, unsure.
No.
Was it something about ponies? Celestia lets out a tired sigh.
No. I asked if you were hungry.
Oh, yes, Anon says as he springs up to his feet. If we have to stay here any longer, I might slit my wrists. Celestia feels a brow raise at that. Anon has always had this tendency to say things that she doesn't understand, even making references that she's never heard of.
What does that mean?
She asks. Anon looks away. It's a human thing. So, where are we heading? Celestia feels herself smile a bit.
I was hoping that we could enjoy a meal in my room.
Anon feels his enthusiasm slip some. What is with ponies always taking him to the rooms? Ever since the Lyra fiasco, he tries his hardest to avoid going into a pony's home, let alone their rooms. Then again, this is Celestia. Anon can say that he does trust her on some level. She's just being friendly and trying to kill two birds with one stone. Note to self, make sure to say that phrase to Fluttershy at some point. Sure. Anon relents, and Celestia feels herself beam at that.
Excellent.
She turns to one of her guards.
Let the ponies know that Descartes is closed for the evening.
He gives her a nod. Very well, princess. Celestia trots happily towards the main door.
Come along, Anon,
she says with joy. Anon lets out a sigh as he follows after her. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. It actually wasn't that bad of an idea. Anon and Celestia are sitting on our balcony and looking over Equestria as the sun slowly makes its descent. They finished their meals a while ago and are enjoying the moment. Did I ever tell you that the sun moves on its own where I come from? Anon asks, and Celestia chuckles.
There was a time that you told me every moment that we met.
Anon chuckles at that as well. Well, that's a tough pill to swallow. You know, magical horse-moving giant celestial bodies at her command.
Well, that's how we do it in Equestria, Anon.
Her horn slowly glows as she gets ready to set the sun.
There are times that I do wish for the skies that you speak of, ones that manage themselves,
she says, with a tone that spoke volumes about her age. It's really easy for Anon to forget that Celestia is more than 2,000 years old. She acts so differently when she's away from the public that he honestly still finds himself surprised when he sees this side of her. Have you ever thought about taking a break? He asked her.
Many days I do, but others I don't.
She admits. You ever try? She shakes her head.
No. My ponies need me.
Well, what about Luna? Celestia looks over to him with a questioning look.
Whatever.
Well, couldn't she take the reins for a while? Another saying that leaves Celestia unsure of what Anon means. The only reins that she knows of are the ones attached to some rather questionable clothing. Celestia finds her mind flashing to what she would look like if she wore a saddle and reins. It's very hard to get the princess to blush, but her thoughts are lighting a fire on her face.
I think you may need to elaborate,
She says with embarrassment. Anon scratches his head some. Perhaps that saying means something here that he wasn't aware of. This Ponyland is crazy. Well, we have horses, and we ride them sometimes, so the saying of taking the reins means to let someone else lead. That seems to make more sense to Celestia. It then falls onto place of what Anon is asking of her.
Wait, let Luna? No. She's still getting settled. I can't just have her take over everything. There needs to be a transition period, informing the ponies, letting the...
Anon just shakes his head some as Celestia continues to name off reasons of why she can't take a break. So much so that Anon decides it's just best to end it. He gently rests his hand over her mouth. It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself. Not me, he says as he removes his hand. Let me tell you this, if you're on a balcony with a nice drink in hand, a barbecue or food nearby, a sunset in front of you, and Celestia or Luna next to you, that's one of the best scenarios to be in. Anywho, let's get on to our relaxing donators. Top donators Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, and Ponyman. Courier Crew CI, Strix, Zar630, Narwhals, TacoCat598, Delta Omega, RuneScythe9852, Dospo, Ronnie Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Rowland, Secret Moon, Tall Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brethren Mordred, Ronan Wandering, Enterai63, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Jack Kedge, Sky Uchiha, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David E. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F., Rainbow Dash, Teal'ca Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Zach Rakau, Mystery CU, Leslie Prickett, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, Nissa Rusan, Vizuri, Dyslexic Character Sheets, and Just a Random Boy. Thank you all very much for watching this video, live life to the fullest, and I feel like my house is gonna collapse at any moment with all the noise that it makes.